Hey, Willie. Hey, Brian. Oh, goodness gracious sakes alive. Let me get comfortable here. Willie, what up, man? Okay, here we go. I'm assuming you can hear everything, but I want to check something. I'm pretty sure it'll work. Just need confirmation. Can you hear all that noise? Hey, Whitney, good morning. It is Monday. All right, you heard that. All that background noise, right? It is Monday, November 4th, 2024. Is today election day? I got my voter registration card here. It doesn't say what day it is, but I think it's today. Look at all this. Hey guys, hey everybody. I guess it's been a minute. 2 months, if I'm not mistaken. Power lies to paralyze. Now I've noticed since I haven't been doing broadcasts in the morning on Mondays, I got more subscribers. Figure that shit out. I think the other day when I watched Alex's protest, which was very well done. And when I say a protest was well done, I mean you don't incite. You're not there to incite people. You're there to provide safe a safe space for those people, even if they don't even know they need it. You get what I'm saying? Oh Lord. All right. Yeah. So they did a great job. Super respectful to the authorities, which I think is really important because those guys, man, that's a gig that they probably don't really want. Like, oh, let's go work the Scientology protest. Oh boy, that's gonna be a blast. So, going going the extra mile or whatever. Which do y'all prefer? This view where you can see the chat, or this view, or I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. It's my choice, ain't it? But where's the other one? The one that I just had. This one, source. No, I thought that was it. Sources. There. Dum 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 dum. Having a safe place and not inciting. Hey, Chad. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Willie. Good morning, Tiff. Good morning, Anna. Good morning, Bach. Hey, what's up, Bach buddy? Um, I don't have anything prepared as usual. I'm just gonna riff, and there's some topics that I would love to discuss, but I can't. It's just personal stuff. It's all it is. But it's good news. But it's not all good news, as usual. Um, mm, I am wanting my coffee, and I don't know where I put it. I have water. So, yeah, somehow or another, I have more subscribers than I did whenever I just did, I burn out on stuff to say. And I feel like it's pointless to do this every Monday. Uh, I've gotten to a point, though, where the Monday thing has kind of stuck. Like I start my week, and I have a week, and I have a weekend, and there's some, um, what would you call it? Um, Routine going on. How about? I'm curious if any of y'all have as well, sort of gotten into a routine. Um, I'm not always a fan of routines. I guess it depends on what they are. I hate cardio routines. Mm, that is one big. Oh, hello. Hey, that's a Lulu howl. All right. Yeah, we could use all the help we could get. Um, man, I have to watch my mouth right now. But what I wanted, one of the things I wanted to talk about that I've been talking to everybody about is the shit with Diddy, and how last year I got a call from a friend in L.A. who used to be involved with Scientology and was friends with some of the people that Diddy was frequently seen with. And yes, we love Lulu. We love to hear Lulu howls. Alex tried to help me. He's like, mate, you've got to put something on your wish list. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. He's like, well, you go to buy me a coffee and you just put wish list, and I don't see wish list anywhere on it. Uh, I see like things to create products, and I messed around with it before, but I don't see a wish list thing. Like right now, I am renovating a building just outside to move all this studio stuff because it's in the living room where we are living now, which is not New Orleans, and it's very obvious that it's not New Orleans when you live here. Um, hmm. So, yeah, like if there's any, well, there's more coming up too. So, like, I got a whole nother record ready to go. I've been talking to Rick. We've got the tracks, um, and there's plans to move forward with that. Same configuration as before, basically. So, um, cars, man. Yeah, yesterday we had two. I ran Cynthia's car into the threads of the tire, and yesterday was the day that we had to change the tires, and we wouldn't have had a car uh, to use to go pick up the kids after school. And that's just one of those things. Like you gotta problem solve. Luckily, I got a lot of good friends, a lot of really awesome friends that love to help me. um, I just accept it now. I think in 2017, when I needed a vehicle, Uh, the two posts that were made on Aaron Smith Levin's page didn't really do much. Actually, it was two people that were like, "Why are we not helping this guy?" And they ponied up quite a bit to help me get a vehicle so that I could get around and get to my medical appointments and shit. I don't know how long I didn't have a car. I want to say it was like 8 months. 8 months without a vehicle. And I was living in my friend's backyard in a studio. I did some broadcasts back then from there. There's a lot of shit going on. Willie said a lot of connections there. Yeah, Ashton Kutcher. Giovanni Ribisi. Danny Masterson, obviously. But probably many others. And from the TMZ report that I watched, the attorney has sent out settlements. Now, one girl who was a victim got a settlement offer of $300 whole for all the 2 years of sexual and physical abuse that she received, which was similar to Cassie. Yeah, Tiff probably will, probably Jada. But the thing is that the settlements to keep the names out of court, because Diddy's going to be like, "Yo, you're going to settle for this amount," and his attorney's going to be like, "Yeah, send everybody a couple $100 and just say you'll keep their name out of it." Hollywood. Here's something for you, Brian. Just some poetry, because you like poetry. I'm a writer as well, and I enjoy poetry. I love your haiku book. So Hollywood ain't that bad. You'll find the dream you're looking for when you lose the one you have. In other words, when you go to Hollywood, you may have an idea of what you want if you're in the entertainment business. It is an entertainment city. Not for very much longer, I'm afraid. And the reason I'm afraid is because where are these people going to go? Louisiana has the best tax incentives at the moment, and they just approved at the state capital here insurance covering Narconon. Now, I know the two people who would be involved in getting that kind of legislature passed, and I even know the name of the attorney who may have even filed some paperwork on it. His name is L.D. Sledge. L. D. Sledge. I can't keep up with y'all in chat. Okay, Will Smith. Yep, some sick stuff. VMA Awards with the girl is confusing and gross. I don't know if I saw that. Everyone on that 70s show except Topher Grace. Yeah. Well, Doug talked about that because he was in an acting class with most of those people. In fact, it might have been everyone who was a Scientologist on that show or connected with, he was in a class with, their acting class. Hal Sparks was talking about Ashton. Evidently, he knows a couple of them. I don't know Hal Sparks. What trips me out looking back is how close I was to this stuff. And I didn't even know, excuse me, what really was going on. And there were parties all the time. I never saw a white party. But we threw parties for Scientologists on that big blue house that Mike Tyson bought and had the tigers in. Yeah, so many are all children. The Justin Bieber thing, right? When he got famous on YouTube, let me put the chat up so y'all can see what I'm responding to. I've got Fallout 76 here just chilling. So we can just hang, you know. The Justin Bieber damn camera. Let's sit like this. I knew whenever he got famous, YouTube famous, that this kid was fucking screwed because I'd been in Hollywood and I, you know, Jason, not Big A, but Jason Mewes, shared some things about all of the fucking pedos in Hollywood. And we hung out at the internet cafe that I was moonlighting at while I was getting my sec check. So I wasn't not exactly in the best position to be recalling memories because that was a very fucked up time. But you know, Jason very un-Hollywood, and it's funny because in Hollywood, if you're like a yes man, they don't like you. And if you're a stand your ground on your own premises kind of person, they may completely reject you because of some belief that you have. But there are people that respect that in some cases, and films get made, whether they're part of the Hollywood clique cadre or not. Another friend of mine moved from LA to Nashville and left Scott Weiland's studio that he was residing in, which is a very nice studio. He would clients for life. He probably wouldn't have even had to run it much because of the Scott Weiland studio. People, engineers and producers will line up to record there, and book bands to record there. But he left and started with nothing in Nashville. I saw him post a picture of an interface, a little bitty interface in a laptop. And he was like, feels good to start over. I'm like, wow. He left that $100 million, multi-million dollar studio for an apartment in Nashville with a little laptop and a. Now, I don't think Rocco is a bad guy. I think Rocco's a good guy. But he hung around some people. Like, there's a picture of him on Facebook with some real big stars, Bono and fucking Scott and I don't know, some hip hop stars and whatever. So like he was around these fucked up Hollywood things, and they happen because in LA, there's another thing I was looking at retrospectively. In LA, from block to block, and this is different, and you could say the same about New Orleans, but it's different in New Orleans, I think. In any block, anything could happen to you. Anything. In New Orleans, that's true too, but to a way less scary degree. Because usually in New Orleans, where there is the crime is where the tourism is, And it's usually people who aren't really trying to just kill people, not psychos, or addicts. Some of them are gang members, but even them, they don't necessarily. It's usually the crazy kids, crazy kids. No, I mean probably the kids that don't have parents and the kids that grow up on the street that do crazy things. Like we had some kids pull a woman out of her car and drag her for half a mile until her arm was ripped off. And that could just happen in New Orleans. But in LA, you could just disappear. Like in a block. And no one would ever know. Really. It's a place where nobody asks questions, really. Because everybody is somebody or wants to be somebody. It's just a dangerous fucking thing. And, you know, what another aspect, and I'm just ranting and riffing here, but another aspect of this whole Diddy thing, as it relates to me in entertainment, because I've been in entertainment for a long time, is that what Diddy was doing is, from my secondhand knowledge, from sources that I actually trust, which are few, I'll quote Frank Zappa here. Politics is the entertainment division of the government. And what Diddy was doing is probably small potatoes compared to what the entertainment division of the government does. And but somebody has to be held accountable and made made to be accountable for the trafficking, which is clearly going on everywhere. Florida, West Coast, I mean everywhere really. But there are specific areas that are more amenable to trafficking, like Florida, and a lot of coastal areas where you can, or where there's very like open borders. You can get someone here without a green card or visa or ID, and they're essentially already a slave to whoever they're in the company of. I'm curious to see who doesn't come up. You know, I'm very normally I don't care about legal cases. Like I didn't care about the Johnny Depp and his girlfriend thing, Amber Heard. Not that I don't care about the abuse stuff. I do. It's a big new part of my awareness, as I was experiencing it for a long time. Didn't even know it's like Stockholm syndrome or whatever. But didn't have much interest in that case. But I have a lot of interest in this case because it can and probably will affect the music business. It's that big. And I feel like the attention is going on to Diddy because he's a sacrificial lamb. Now, I'm not saying he's not guilty. I'm not saying he's a victim here in anything that he doesn't deserve. Like, you play with fire, you get burned. But to think for him as a billionaire, like single billionaire, to think that he can fight the powers that be that exist outside of his purview, that talk about him in high places and what to do with him and how to handle it. No, $1 billion ain't enough. And just body language. I watch his lawyer, and I can tell that he knows. He's just going to take as much as he can. Everyone's going to do a feeding frenzy. But the sad thing is, another sad thing about all this is that the victims aren't going to be the ones that are profiting from it or getting compensated for the fucking abuse they experienced. They're going to get the very least. But they do have the redemptive aspect of the him being exposed, and it's stopping with Diddy at least. It doesn't mean it's going to stop everyone else. Will Smith, yeah, okay, that's where I left off. Let's see. Settle privately in civil cases. All right, so this brings up another friend of mine who just got a gig with a famous artist. He's got tattoos all over his face. And he just recently moved to Nashville. And he went to white parties. Well, my friend who's got this gig through his management company, Yellow Dog, booked more than one artist on that tour. Now, what's going to happen when, or if, because we don't know whether the name is going to come up, but, you know, if Post Malone's name comes up, then by just simply taking that gig, and I'm sure Jeremy didn't know jack shit about Diddy parties or even Post Malone going, but it could be a bad thing for that company to have booked all those people with Post Malone, because people are going to question, well, did you know about Post Malone? Do they? Is that why they wanted on the tour? You know, no. Thousands of enablers, Willie. Thousands. Maybe tens of thousands. Maybe more. The two Coreys, I'm assuming Corey Feldman and Corey Haim. Is that right? We're talking about Combs and others all the time, right by the border. Combs was likely moving weight in the Ciroc and later baby oil bottles from his border in LA and Miami with Drake holding down Texas. Wow. Yeah, Houston. Houston, huge trafficking area. Laredo ain't far. And nighttime drives, easy to smuggle people. Hey, Max Mirtokigal. Comment ça va? Bon matin. It is lundi, November 4. I don't know how to say 2024 in French. Willie, at least a bunch of victims are likely able to finally, yeah. That's the thing that is the relief. And I think that him being in jail helped with people actually coming forward with their stories. He had to be in jail, you know, unable to communicate with his network. He had a vast network. This is essentially a mafia network. The government doesn't like competition, and they took out 4 of the mafias back in the 70s and 80s. They weren't able to, they didn't manage to take out the Southern Mafia. That still very much exists. Yeah, by the way, if you got some extra change and like hearing me on my soapbox, could definitely use some help right now. I've had to hire an attorney for things that are, family, personal nature. It's nothing bad, but it is putting some financial strain So anything helps. But I also like kind of want to put these uh, that wish list together that Alex was talking about, because I'm about to be in a position where I'll be able to broadcast podcasts, um, and produce shorts, videos, a lot more efficiently, because it's hard to focus in the living room. Um, it sounds really uh, bougie, and I like bourgeois. It sounds really bourgeois and fancy, but I can produce things that are better quality, uh, and more consistently if I have. And when I say consistently, I don't necessarily mean week to week, even though I've proven that I can do that. The What I mean is like flow states where I can pump out a lot of uh, publishing or features or whatever, and having a live studio that's configured for both recording music and video and podcasts with a control room. Yeah, there's some items I might need, because uh, it's a construction thing. Um, yeah, excuse me. Yeah, Whitney says it's gonna suck in Texas when women can't get their medical care. Well, um, it's a huge state, and you're darn tootin' that the women of Texas are going to do something about it. Now, what it is going to be, I don't know. But it's going to be something. And it's going to involve pain and suffering. Uh, yeah, I've submitted my album to a couple of licensing companies, and I've been denied. You can only do so much at third party licensing companies, and there's only so many in the United States. And just like I would do, I would be curating and handpicking, cherry picking stuff. But I find it odd that I've been denied all three times on every single song. And I mean, because I've been told it's a good record, but you're your own worst critic. I have a hard time with it. Um, I also have a whole nother record to do. So, uh, yeah, there's an enormous amount, as of late, support for. One day I'll be able to talk about the whole goddamn thing, and everyone wants me to write a book. If I write stuff, I probably need to write it, you know, one section at a time, because the story ain't over yet. There's still shit going on. I think the last time I broadcast, I said I might be being fair gamed, um, and in all but name. And that's the perfect fair game, if you ask me, because there's just no proof. So I can't say that I'm being fair gamed. I can't say that I ever was, uh, in the truest sense. Now, I've been loudly investigated, um, and I've been harassed, and my brother's been called to go to LA with his wife and say all kinds of terrible things about me on camera. Um, let's see here. Yes, I need to be able to focus. Like, to put it into perspective there on the, like, what kind of throughput I can do, in about 3 weeks, I produced all of the demos that were, used to get the next record together. But I was by myself. Um, Flow states. If you know anything about them, that's what it is. I kind of have to be by myself to start the creation process and then bring it to others and get the input and be like, okay, here's what I have. So, uh, back in April, I basically wrote the next record. Um, it's in demo form right now, but um, it's still dark. It's still got tones, dark tones, but it's also got some cool southern roots and rock and R&B. Uh, a lot more than the previous album did. So I'm excited about that aspect because I can actually kind of play my guitar a little more instead of the first album. I was being very meticulous because it was my first real album, and I wanted to be as meticulous as possible and take away stuff rather than continually add stuff. That's a big problem that people run into in the studio and get stuck in the mix process. Just keep it simple, stupid. And I think the timing of the hurricane and being in such a out of whack state of mind actually helped me to think less and to play simpler, um, which makes the album more performable, except for the fact that there's strings. But you know, if I'm going to be playing that live, I will need to have some keyboard player do the strings or have uh, a violinist or a viola that would cover it. It doesn't have to be a whole section. It just needs that melody needs to be represented in the rendition, the live rendition. And one of the bands that I follow a lot and listen to a lot of for inspiration is War on Drugs, and I've listened to their live recordings and their albums, and there's differences, but the core of the songs and the core feeling, like the performances are still. And that's the tricky thing about writing something to perform is like, can you perform that consistently and make that that moment, like relive, not necessarily relive that moment, but recreate that performance. Um, Bach Kiss theory is opposite what Steely Dan did. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, don't lose that number. I'm a big fan of Gene Simmons' thought processes. I'm not a big fan of Kiss, but I really think he understands the music business. And there's not much that he's been interviewed on that, in regards to business. I'm not talking about his personal preferences and his political leanings or anything like that. But in regards to the music business, he has been spot dead on. The only other person I know that's been more right is a friend of mine who passed away, who was a music attorney in Nashville, named Stephen Moore, who wrote the book Truth About the Music Business. He's the only other guy that had, like, would even talk about, much less predict, what the music business went through at the turn of the millennium. And we're looking at a whole new ball game now. so far removed from what we remember. But there are ways, or there are things that are being attempted and tried to bring back the nostalgia of listening to music. What is going to ultimately prevail? I don't know. Hi, Cece. Bum, 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 bum. Rolling a big fat one, Willie Weed. That's most approps, my man. I'm thinking of Athens, Georgia. I don't. That might be an inside joke for y'all. I don't know. Um, yeah. Make it rain. Make it rain. Actually, the this morning when I got up, I wasn't 100% sure I was going to do a broadcast because I'm afraid I'm going to say something about what's going on that, will somehow fuck me over, but that does not seem likely. Um, just lost my track of thought. I'm listening. I can hear all of the. I can hear everything in great detail with this mic. So little noises in background can be distracting. I forgot what the hell I was just about to say. Let me reread chat here. Oh, yes. So like I wasn't sure I was going to uh, do a broadcast this morning, and then I was like, you know what? If because I don't know what to talk about. I didn't know what to talk about. This channel years ago was a Scientology expose channel, and people grabbed their popcorn and whatnot, and there was just a handful, and and I don't ride that gravy train if it ever was one. It never really was. It was just I had to express it, and seeing all this Diddy stuff, man, it's just like wow, like in 2005, some of this shit, like that's the year that I left, but all during from 2002 to 2005, all 3 years that I was there, like I was so close to this crap, and it just that city's so big. There's like 5 million people. Um, you a lot of times you rarely see the culture shock. Part of the culture shock there is that you never see the same people ever. Maybe even at your apartment, it's like whoa, there's just nobody. People are moving in and out, and it's so fast paced. But this shit was going on like 1 degree of separation from me. And I didn't know. Like, there's an evil, weird thing. Obviously, I had a lot of cognitive dissonance. I tried to hang myself in the mission. There's a lot of sick shit going on. And bless you. Bless you. Bless you. That was a lot of sneezing. Not having a topic is my forte. Hello, friends. What are we going to talk about? I don't fucking know. Find something to talk about. No, that's the thing is Sophia is that I wanted to talk to y'all. Y'all are part of my support group too. Yeah, Willie. I mean, that's an. if I had more proof, I'd say that's an understatement. I think that Scientology, since '94, when Scientology defrauded the fucking IRS, that's a pretty good bit of leverage to have blackmailed some people in the IRS. And also, all of these diddlers in the government would, like for their lifestyle of diddling, it's a mutually beneficial relationship to have a Scientologist friend. Because they're going to make it so that, just like fair game, the best fair game is the fair game that you can't prove. And so if you set things up, if you socially engineer things to where people have, what's the word, plausible deniability, yet at the same time, both of them know they're committing a criminal act, but there's plausible deniability and then at least an alibi. None of this goes spoken, but it is a service that can be provided. All it takes is the right words and the right conversation and the right sort of inflection, insinuation, whatever. Non-verbals. Do I get another ex-Scientology study today? Do you want one? What would you like, CC? And by the way, is that my niece, CC? Is that who it is? Because I have a niece named CC. And I've heard that she watches me sometimes. Was it 94 when they returned the church status? 76 was Project Snow White. Willie, thank you. You corrected me. Yes. They got their tax exempt status. But when you think about how long that took, do you think that the government really wanted to give them that? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I guess I'm undecided. But I do know that, like, training routine 3, which is the duplicative question, is used incessantly until the other person gives in. It's the same as it's a low power ethics technology. In Scientology is what they call it. They don't call it low power. They just say it's ethics tech. But the duplicative question is a training routine that you train to break down walls of resistance. And with enough duplicative questioning, you can break almost anyone. I'm not joking. You can. I was able to bypass the law on bulk mail, and this happens with Scientology all over the place because the post office, they're not equipped to deal with this. They have mail to deliver. So after a year and a half or 6 months of someone coming into their bulk mail room, which is basically having a non-employee in an employee area, which puts them at liability, like insurance liability. They don't want you there, but you actually can go there and petition and constantly rewrite petitions for bulk mail, for tax-free, whatever. And so you can defraud institutions like that. Project Snow White was that on a megalithic scale. I think it was a part of a series of projects or operations that went over a long period of time to ultimately get enough dirt, or as they say in fair game, if there's no dirt, generate it, fabricate it, produce it, to blackmail the however many IRS and government officials that they had to blackmail. But this is not a good sign, and it's also not a good partnership for this, for, state sponsored Scientology, essentially. When you approve a church, like, hey, yeah, you're a good church and you don't pay taxes, you're saying as a state, yeah, this is okay. These guys are all right. Well, given what we know now about Scientology and the things that have happened in just the last few years, should that be brought up again? Is it time yet to bring it up? It's really hard to take tax exemption. It's kind of like a law. It's really hard to repeal a law. The times that you can do it easier are when there is a lot of public sentiment, where there's pressure involved from constituents that vote. I plan on doing something about this thing here in the state, though I'm not quite sure what yet. Because Narconon being approved by insurance is only going to lead to more people from my home state in Louisiana to get involved in Scientology. And I know a lot of people in Louisiana, and if I end up knowing someone who gets involved in Scientology, I will be attacked in some form or fashion. And I sometimes think that this has been, they play the long game. Death by 1,000 cuts. Kathy and Dominic and Rohit and Rondi Adi, and Laura, is it Laura? Another previous executive director of the Baton Rouge Mission, or the Baton Rouge Org now. Yeah, Cece is a good name. She is a good niece. She's a sweetheart. I love her to death. We don't agree on everything, but that is okay. I happen to like to hang out with people that have differing points of view. Tiff is probably right. This is their attempt to bring in more young people, because there are still a lot of people here who don't really know about Narconon. And because of the name is it's a genius marketing ploy. Narconon sounds like Narcotics Anonymous. Sounds like it is affiliated, some official, they got to pin themselves on some official sounding thing. Kind of like Citizen Commission on Human Rights, or WISE, or Applied Scholastics, or Way to Happiness. You were born in 67. You're my brother's age, Willie. You're my older brother. There's pamphlets everywhere where you're at, Tiff. Where? I'm curious where, what campus, what college. Well, Whitney says that, in my opinion, they're moving into Asia because there are vulnerable populations there. Well, they've been in Asia, and they have had very wealthy Chinese donors who apparently were Scientologists. Might want to I'd have to fact check that with Tony because he knows everything. But uh, there were missions in China in the royal province. You think about all the dignitaries and people and influence and money that someone like Tom Cruise has. Man, Tom, fuck's sake, dude, get out. Go see your daughter. Um, I forgive you. Get out and do something about it because you have so much fucking power, dude. You think that the church has power. It ain't the church, it's you, man. So do the right thing. Go see your daughter. Fuck the church. If you remember where you were when you made the movie Magnolia, try to get back to that place. I know this message is it's a message in a bottle, but I'm doing it anyway. Remember where you were when you did Frank Mackey. When you did Frank Mackey, you were going through a lot. You were separated. You were being handled by ethics, I'm sure, a lot. Getting a lot of phone calls. But you were fucking doing a movie. And you were focused on that movie. And you fucking killed it in that movie. That was some of your best work as far as an dramatic actor. Go back and watch it. There is real blood, sweat, and tears in that performance. And it's no coincidence because you had been torn asunder. Your family had been torn asunder, and you were putting all of that into your performance. Go back to that state of mind and look in present time and see if they delivered what was promised. That's policy. So pull up the reference. Use Scientology if you have to, because it has the way out. Tom, you could do a lot of good in the world, man. And you do a lot of good in the world. But there's things that you don't even just go back to where your headspace was back then. Try to go back to that moment in time. Exteriorize yourself and do that. And really feel that present moment bank. And I know I'm speaking some Scientologies, but it's a message in a bottle to Tom. I don't hate Tom like some people do. Victims are also perpetrators. I was a victim and I was also a perpetrator. When you get groomed to become, when you get groomed and are a victim, you tend to be groomed to victimize others or to help and aid and abet others who are going to victimize others and groom others. So you become a groomer, which is a perpetrating, it's a perp thing. Hey, Alex. Good morning. I just sent out a message in a bottle to Tom Cruise. And, I don't know if it'll get there. I hope that someone gets my CC. Hi, kids. I'm a proud 72 born in 1952. They claim Scientology began. Well, I hope you had a good birthday this year. You're 2 years past due. Average lifespan is 70, so good job. You've taken care of yourself pretty well. You've lived 2 years past the average lifespan. Alex, I was bragging on you earlier of how well the protest was done because the goal is not to incite and insult people. It's to be there. It's just to be there for them. Whether they realize it or not, there's help to be had there. And, to aggravate people is not the goal. To make the the message clear to that they may not be getting, that there is some help. If you feel that there's something wrong with Scientology, you're not alone, and you can talk to these people. But you know, I just feel like I watched the whole protest while I was playing Fallout, and it was done incredibly well, which I'm not surprised. You're very professional. You remind me of myself in some ways, because I was a young professional that was able to pull off things that people were like, "Holy shit, we can get this guy to do this, 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 because he can do it." Um, yeah, you said it. Alex says, absolutely, it's about the support in the community, not harassment or being antagonistic. And I heard you, remind people of that during and that was a tight fit, tight squeeze, man. Like, I bet it felt good to leave and find be able to stretch out a little bit, not be so tight, because it seemed like they just had a constant uh, cavalcade of cars, like, just even after they drop people off, they're just driving around to serendipitously maybe cause some sort of incident. And you were also extremely cautious and careful when crossing the front, which is important, because those are the kind of situations where, if a Scientologist who knows there's no punitive action for all the way up to killing an SP, then if they're only going 5 to 10 miles an hour, let's say, turning in, and people aren't being vigilant, and someone just happens, because it's a small driveway, all it would take is one or two steps, and a car could run somebody over. You were on top of that shit. Like, not on your watch, no one's going to get hurt, and also keep it respectful. And, um, the only chant mantra that I heard was it "Hey ho, Scientology abuse has got to go," something like that. And I mean, to me, that was a perfect display. It didn't even feel or seem like a protest, more like it was a lifeboat. Like, hey, there is a lifeboat here, just so you know. Because you and I both know that the cognitive dissonance occurs, and there are opportune moments where you can get people in or out of these coercive things. Bach, buddy, the work Alex is doing makes me think of a snapping turtle that's bit down and isn't going to give up. Yeah. We got big snapping turtles here. We got alligator snapping turtles, and me and my cousin used to take logs and put it by their mouth, and this shit would crunch down, and they just wouldn't let go. Alex, I still have not found where the wish list is. Maybe you can walk me through this on the back end here of Buy Me a Coffee. You said there was some kind of like, instead of donating money, you can put an item up or something. But I do not see where that is. This is way opaque. Let's do this. There we go. So, where is it, man? Where is this alleged? Oh no, where is my chat now? Shit. I closed the. Damn it. I have to reopen the chat tab and I'm about to cause a space-time continuum time paradox. Because I need to reopen. Here we go. Time paradox. Did I get it? Yeah, I got it in time. All right. Pop out chat. There we go. Now I can see what everybody write. Big screen. Okay. So we were even telling them where to park. People can donate money towards items on your wish list. Okay. So I'll click on publish. Got it. If you click, window will disappear. You can do it. What are you talking about? So I clicked on publish. I see post, gallery, and messages. That's what I see. Oh, Willie, don't even start, man. I actually know a lot about tech, but I've forgotten more than most people know, and I have a bandwidth in my brain for everything that's going on in my life. Yeah, it looks like I don't have the... Okay, so I'm not crazy, because you say a wish list. I'm like, what the hell? I don't see no wish list. Yeah, I don't know. So I guess that's a no-go on the wish list thing. No wish list for in Theta. Bup. Okay. Yeah, so what's up with that? Why? I have two chats open right now. Because I switched to thingy. Now we go back here. Yeah, I don't know what y'all prefer, this or that or the other. Yeah, I can create an Amazon wish list and then what? Post the link and buy me a coffee or something. Because Tish, I think, and Bach have asked me to are like put an Amazon thing up. There's tons of shit that I could put up there. Some of it affordable, some of it not. I have still no income, so and the SSI thing with the election, it's like I think the government employees are like, yeah, fuck it, election happening, everything's gonna change anyways. We're not processing anything. Yeah, or in the description of my video. Good point. Yeah. I did tell everybody here, Alex, since you're a little late to the party, that I'm working on the studio in the back. I'm going to be moving everything in there once I can get it like suitable. Main thing in a studio is temperature control and moisture control and power. Acoustics and stuff, like that stuff's easy for me, but and for me and Dale, like we can two-man. We built 6 studios, and that stuff's pretty easy. We can knock that out. Even the walls, because what we do is we double insulate the walls and put some kind of fascia and felt, some kind of fabric. It gives it a really nice vibe. Then on top of that, we put paneling, which I have a bunch of panels. They're fugly ass green, seafoam green. I may be able to refabric them. But that room, there's a room. It's slightly bigger than Dale's studio. So it was 28 by 16 or 18, 28, 20. Yeah, 26 by 18, something like that. Um, it's already kind of set up with it for a control room. There's a third of that space is got a wall, and the other part will be the podcast studio and whatnot. We have a window already in there, but we can expand that, put a door to get in from the control room. There's lots of little odds and ends that I'll need to get all this done. Some of it's cheap, some of it, is not super expensive. Um, and yeah, I think I'd like to do that because there's not just the stuff that I do, but there's things that others could that would need have a need for a broadcast engineer, a remote broadcast engineer, which I can do from here, but it should be probably in a studio that is, you know, um, got enough power, isn't uh, going to lose power, isn't drawing from the same power as the house. You know, anyway, I think this whole house has about 120 watts. Is that right? Voltage. See, I'm not an electrician. Lucky I have friends in all trades, but yeah, shit like fabric, insulation, uh, maybe some doors. Um, Man, the bathroom thing is super tempting because having podcast guests out here, it would be nice, but I can actually set something up outside. I could it's the country out here, like I could put a porta potty out here if I wanted. Or build an outhouse. um I don't know who's all going to be coming. There's a lot of people from southern, like south central United States in the music community that would probably come and chat. We could do podcasts about music. I could do, you know, broadcasts for whatever. And I could also uh, engineer broadcasts. In other words, like I'm not in the broadcast, but I can run it for people. Hey, Lydia. Welcome, welcome. Um, might as well, might as well stick around. I do have to nature. So, was I disconnected? Yes, I was. I was disconnected. But while I am going to do that, the others may need to bio break too. It's 11:15. Let's take 5 to 15. I'll leave the broadcast running. Get you some more coffee, which I'm going to do. And we'll wrap up the last 30 minutes of the first broadcast I've done in 2 months. So I've missed you guys. And those who came late, who regularly go back and rewatch, like this one might be worth rewatching. I'm going to show off and just something for the background so you can look at something, so it's not just like, okay, what is going on? I need my stash. Why don't we just go to my base, Cajun Fast Mart. That's me crows and fryogenically, like Fry from Futurama. I love this game. I love the lore. I love the storytelling. I love the original writers, Chris Avallone and Josh Sawyer. They're vastly underappreciated and have been through the ringer in the gaming industry. It's another part of the entertainment industry. I actually got the pleasure to hear Chris Avallone speak in New Orleans and meet him in 2021. It was incredible. The guy who created Fallout. He's a super interesting guy. Here's all my power armor sets, and that's what you'll be looking at while I go do bio stuff. Ta-da! All right, be back in a sec. Get coffee. Maybe take a bong rip, Billy, and we'll wrap up. So we got to get our week started right. I guess I could play a little hold music or something. What can I play? How about this? I will play y'all something from the demos. Some of you may have heard it, some of you may have not. I'll play you something from the demos from the new album. I'm gonna play a song that my friend Paul Westbrook played bass on, and he's a killer bassist, but he's well, you'll hear. This one's called Screw. Baby, I twist my life away. Oh, I can twist all night. I can twist all day. 'Cause baby, I twist my life away. Okay, well, the timing was good on that, I suppose. Oh. So, I hadn't had a cigarette in 4 years, but I bought some tobacco a couple weeks ago. I hate hiding things from y'all, but there's some things that are personal I can't talk about. I haven't been smoking like I used to. But with the blood, this is like, I don't know. It seems counterintuitive, but maybe it'll make some kind of paradoxical sense. I was put on a double dose of my blood pressure medicine because my blood pressure was not good. It was at stage 2 hypertension for too long, and they were worried about it going to stage 3. And so they doubled my dose. And I started taking it, and I was like, Jesus Christ, like I feel like the dose I was on before was just kind of like very, very mild sedation. But the double dose, and it's propranolol, snake venom, synthesized into a heart remedy, which is kind of interesting to think about. Like, the doctors are like, here, what you need in your blood to fix your heart is some snake blood. But the high-tech snake blood, not just snake blood. I hear in the Thai culture they actually do drink snake, or drink snake blood, and or in addition to make cobra whiskey. Never had it myself. Don't think I ever want to try it. Okay. Well, Lydia, I think, okay, so Lydia says, blah, hold on, let me get back up here. CC, you want to travel and send out interviews as you go. Yeah. Okay. Y'all, her handle is Femme Morte, but that's Cynthia. As long as I don't have to clean the porta potty, I won't care that it's outside. Well, you do an outhouse, you just have lime and a shovel. It's kind of like latrine duty. It ain't bad. But you want the outhouse away from the house, usually. Ouch. If you would like to, okay, you're giving my links, and you're bringing me coffee with a snake. I mean, not a snake, a shark. Can you want to see? Oh, there it is. There's the shark. A hand puppet. I can't see your head.
Good.
No one can see your head.
I don't have any makeup on.
It's Monday. Okay.
Do you want a kiss? Oh, wait, hold on.
Well, you said you got your make. You don't
No,
want.
let me-
Oh, you're going to do the hoodie. Mm, okay.
Right now, I'm not a queen and I'm just walking around our house hissing for snacks.
It's a fucking circus. I'm not lighting this in here. I almost did, but yeah, after the broadcast, I'll probably have one. I was going to say that I listened to all of the Alan Watts stuff that Max Watts published on Spotify and YouTube and on Deezer and all this SoundCloud everywhere. It's a great work, compendium really of all of that work that his dad did. Um, and really well put together, I gotta say. Like, because sometimes the lectures, well, what they did is they took the time, and it took some time, years after he died. Of course, there's life shit too. It's like, oh my god, if you had a dad like Alan Watts, you gotta deal with that shit, preserve it, whatever. I mean, there's gonna be people that are gonna help you, but what it is that the context from one lecture in, say, the 60s or even 50s uh, versus talks or lectures or speeches in the, well, he lived to the early 80s, so 70s and 80s. He died pretty young. He talks about Eastern philosophy as it applies to Western living, and it's a tough nut for people, for a lot of people, because he came from a Christian background, Catholic, and yeah, I don't know. The point I was gonna make there, I did take a gravity bong rip for Willie while I got up to go get my non-existent coffee that I thought was there. I mean, the cup was there, but there was no coffee in it, and the coffee was there, but it was cold and old and cold. Yes, the Alan Watts quote or paraphrase, because I'm not quoting Alan Watts. But the paraphrasing is like, if you're going to quit something, which I quit this, it took me a long time to quit this, a lot of effort to not smoke, like Doug did. Like I smoked like Doug did. Me and Doug could smoke out a fucking room if we ever would have had the chance. We'd chain smoke 2.5 packs of cigarettes, throw back some beers, and do that. Back in the day, I can't hardly drink anymore, and do a lot of drinking and smoking. It's hard on my body and my mind. Yeah. So what Alan Watts says is, if you don't, if you're trying to quit something, you don't announce it to yourself, because then what he says is you're informing the devil of it, and the devil in yourself, basically the little voice that's gonna either tell you, yeah, well, I can try again later, or this isn't the week to try that. um, when you inform that little devil it's a devil to fight, to quit, because it's there everywhere all the time. So I'm not sweating it. Like, I didn't have a cigarette for 4 years. I've had maybe, let's see, let's be honest here. Uh, I have in the past month bought 3 packs of Bugler. 1 pack I smoked, but Cowboy smoked some of it. Cowboy was here for 15 days recently. Yeah, I bring that up at 11:30, 30 minutes before the broadcast, so we could talk about that. But like I said, the personal stuff. The good news is that um, where help is needed, most importantly, which is not me, other persons. Uh, they're getting the support now that they need through uh, certain people that you never would have thought, anyways. So that's about as much as I'm going to say about that. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing because, the concerns weren't coming from any of the uh, adults. Well, I mean, yes, they were, but the certain ones, and there was not a consensus. Now there is a consensus. So, that's probably the best way I could put that. If you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, that's okay. Not a problem. um, yeah, so you don't let the devil know if you're trying to quit. And I'm not trying to quit. I never tried to start. So, but weird thing. So going back to the blood pressure stuff, where you said, who said it? Hypertension, prolonged long-term hypertension. I have had to control this shit with drugs. I don't like it, but like, if it's yeah, I mean, stage 2 hypertension for 6 months, intermittently over 9 years, like prolonged stage 2 hypertension. I I'm no expert, but I think that might put you at risk for things like pulmonary or cardiovascular things like stroke, um, heart failure, or uh, embolism. Yeah, and tobacco is. I look at it differently now. That I feel like that's like some. Well, that's just an addict saying it from AA. Someone say, well, you know, you can't ever touch it again. And well, clearly I can. Clearly I did. You know. Um, but I also was able to, stop. So like, uh, but the double of the medication like dropped my blood pressure so low that like smoking a cigarette actually kind of wake me up. It's almost like and you know how coffee and tobacco go together. So, if you know, you know. If you don't, then cool. I'm not sure if it's like, you know, I would love to say with like certainty that the DNA codes that we have are can be incredibly specific and also dynamic. Um, but the codes are the codes, and that there's predispositions all over the place, and that's sort of the makeup of what your challenges and uh, aptitudes may be in your life, physical, mental, whatever. Breakfast of programmers, cigarette. You know what? I couldn't call myself a programmer, but that was definitely my IT guy routine. Show up at Webtronics at about 6:30 or 7. Open the doors, do the meeting with the boss and the sysadmin and the uh, install tech, and have an hour wake up on a Monday because IT work. Oh man, what a what a load of fun. Um, no, it's like super stressful, and people they take their shit out on you. It's like it may not be bad in some areas, but like down here where people were generally slow to adopt technology, especially computers and stuff. Um, you know, it's not exclusive to here because in 2002 I went to Capitol Records and they didn't have a computer. Like there were a business that was like, we don't do computers. Okay, we do our stuff by hand. All right. Um. Hmm. What the hell was I talking about? Got to get some shit done this week. Got a lot of shit done last week. Uh, had to break it up into pieces. So there's something. If you're feeling overwhelmed with some shit you got to do this week, try breaking it up into smaller pieces. You know, as much as you can handle, and then be like, yeah, you know what? I'm done for now. And then come back to it later. That worked for me. I was talking about slow adopters. Oh, yeah, working in IT, cigarettes and caffeine. I would chain smoke. That's the thing. Just like Doug, I would fucking chain smoke. And, like, so we do the meeting, right? Have coffee, be waking up, get ready for all of our respective jobs for the day. Because, we have a bunch of clients and only so many of us. There was me, there was the boss, which we were both general contractors, and a sysadmin and an install tech. Uh, I would go outside, and this is for Whitney. Just Whitney will probably get the biggest belly laugh out of this shit. All right, I'll do this for you, Whitney. So, four guys in a heavy industrial area with hundreds of clients that have hundreds of staff that need constant upgrading and maintenance and installation. Four of us for a popular. I mean, because I had sold my contacts to my friend Garrett because I needed it for an attorney, and I was a general contractor, and I sold the business and became an employee with some extra negotiated benefits. Like over a period of like the first 3 months, I made whatever more, and then the second 3 months, I made a little less, and then over a year's time, I came down. So it was a way for him to pay for the business. In other words, to pay for the rest of the business. He paid me $10,000, and then the rest he paid over a year in my salary as an employee. But we had to do this with four people, and I was just coming off of a marketing campaign for a district attorney, and yeah, the so Whitney, get this shit. So I go outside and chain smoke. Like after the meeting, like we would go out, we'd sit there. Garrett is a super positive guy. Garrett is like, okay, we're gonna do the best that we can, and he'll take any situation that's total fuck and be like, you know, I've got to see a way. I got to find a way to see the positive in it. So he's a retired Air Force crew chief for a C-130. Quite a remarkable man. And so I'm like, okay, well, I guess we need to develop some kind of a system to keep track of all these people because there's four of us and 100 some odd. It was about 100, and then there were prioritizations to be made because there were government contracts. I was a government service award Schedule 7D IT contractor. Garrett was like, you need to get this license. So we had public works contracts. We had private industry contracts. We had mobile home contracts. We had, small business contracts, medium business contracts, restaurant contracts. And the sysadmin is a real special fella. His name is Gary, and it's the owner's son. And the install tech is also the owner's son. His name is Ben. And it was kind of like I was his son too. And we were all a big family. So would go out and smoke and chain smoke Marlboro Lights. After the meetings, sometimes it wasn't like this every day, right? You have good days, you have bad days, but I feel like you get a kick out of just imagining me standing outside this real heavy industrial area, because that's what it was, Westlake, and thinking about how I'm going to go visit all of the clients in, because there's about 100, and their maintenance. So that means they're constant. And it's just me and Garrett. Garrett is doing some of that too. So we're basically going 50-50. The meetings would be done at 8. I would smoke sometimes 3/4 of a pack of cigarettes before I left in like 20 minutes. In like 20 minutes, I would smoke 15 cigarettes. That's like the max. Sometimes it usually be half, like 10 cigarettes every day in the morning at 8 o'clock. And I could not smoke a Marlboro Light today. I couldn't smoke. I don't think I could ever smoke anything that's not like just tobacco that I roll. And I do like Bugler. I don't really like Top. But tobacco has a ceremonial purpose and as well. You can roll it, mix it with some weed, and have a spliff. I feel like that's a little too much for me because I have hypertension. But like as I said, my blood pressure is low. Oh, Whitney, it it was a hell that we lived through together, and we because of Garrett's leadership, Garrett Z. Lawrence. He's a fucking amazing person. And he's got his issues. Like he was in the C-130s back in the Iraq War, and he ran AWACS, and as the crew chief of one of those planes, he also had to survey their target damage once after the bombing, and then the ground forces move in and clear. Then they'll go back to the base, get a plane, and go fly to the airfield and travel to the places and survey the damage. Incredibly organizationally talented person. Like the ability to organize things in your mind, not and be able to, like, it's a force multiplier if you ask me. That doesn't really apply, but I was talking to some friends earlier about this in gaming. Quality over quantity, or quality leads to, or quality over quantity, or quantity leads to quality. I think both arguments are valid, but I also have observed the small groups having large impacts. A small group having a large impact. Now, the bigger it gets and the more people can sort of like manage their own, what would you call it? Thoughts, machinations, ideas, trying to innovate, create things, make things more secure, better, safer, fitter, happier, more productive on antibiotics, not in a cage. Marlboro Miles, man, that's Willie Weed. Marlboro Miles, you collect the Marlboro Miles. Cowboy used to collect Marlboro Miles, and a bunch of people would collect that for him and bring him the Marlboro Miles because he wanted a bunch of Marlboro Miles for cowboy stuff. Everything was an emergency? No. Actually, that was one of the good things about working with Garrett Z. Lawrence and his two sons is that, um, like, we have no problem, Garrett and I, telling someone, because when we sit down and take a client, like, I will tell a client, like, look, if you need, because at the time I was doing web development and content creation, commercials, video commercials, and media, multimedia for use in campaigns, like large format for billboards, shit like that. I was competing just solo against like firms here in town, and instead of being headhunted, which there was really no one here headhunting because it was like just a couple of games in town, and they really were, because everyone's so bass backwards tech wise here, companies weren't investing in people to keep up with tech. So some people saw some opportunity there to basically be outsourced tech, and very bad too, like just terrible tech support. And so that's what they were accustomed to. So whenever I would take a client, or when Garrett would take clients, we would tell them, like, in no uncertain terms, how things were going to be conducted. We were going to do an initial, like, security sweep, review, whatever, report, analysis, and then a consultation as to what they should do about it. And so, should they decide to get it taken care of, then they will pay us, and we will do that. After which, if they want to maintain that system, this entire security system, from security cameras all the way down to your printers, we will maintain it. If you get hacked or whatever, got on-site, off-site, whatever, hardware replacement. Oh, you don't want to order that? Don't worry about it. We got a distributor. So all this would be laid out with the clients prior to. So it wasn't really a nightmare. The only thing that was a nightmare was those clients that had a chip on their shoulder for whatever reason, and office politic crap. I had two people in, 3 years that had a problem with me for whatever reason. But yeah, because, like, there are only a couple of games in town. You got we're gonna take care of everything, and they fuck everything up game. And then there's the game of the, like, or the people you could hire that are like, yeah, they're not going to sugarcoat it, but they're going to take care of it. But you might not like them, but that's what they're there for, is to take care, make sure your shit's secure. So if people called for an emergency, like we gave them a policy, or we gave them a protocol for that. We gave them, here's what you do before you call a stop work. Because when they call a stop work, we stop our work and we go priority onto that site and secure it. Medical facilities are a prime one that we would do. Legal facilities, not so much. They bought high priced people from Austin and shit like that. Yeah. It's a rough fucking gig, Whitney. But I'm glad I could share some war story shit. I have more. In fact, that was a prerequisite for me after I sold the business to Garrett. Like, he was like, "Do you want to continue doing this?" I'm like, "Well, yeah." He's like, "Well, let's negotiate that." But before we can do that, I had to have a meeting with the systems administrator and the tech installer, and and it was such an like eye piercing. Like, they were staring at my soul as an IT guy, and they're like, "What have you really been through?" Yeah. And I told them about a really crazy story that happened during the campaign, where I had to. There was on the 18th floor of this big office building in Lake Charles. It's a giant law office that I was doing the campaigning. I was a hired social media consultant, and I worked with a team of political consultants, two political consultants, a business consultant, and a an office consultant, and obviously the legal consultant was the attorney running for DA. What a fucking circus that shit was. But so he had development over development. So he had 5 IT contractors that had installed shit in there. Just because he has money and they are soliciting services to him that he doesn't need, but they'll sell him. And so there's like layer cake of bullshit. There was an Windows R10 2004 or 2002 R2 system. There was another database system that was like, what the fuck is this for? And all this was tied into the main uh, IT room, which was just a mess of wires. And their email broke. It broke, and there was 3 sections of the office and 6 websites that it broke on. No one knows how it broke, but it mysteriously broke the week that I got hired. Um, So, super stressful week. I stayed there for 48 hours because it's a 24-hour building, and went to my car to take a horror bath. And I worked it out anyway. Like, I performed a miracle. They asked me all of what I did, and I probably remembered it at the time. Like, oh, well, I had to do this and that, and this, whatever. But too long ago. That's 20. The election was in 2014, so this would have been 2013, I guess. Hard to tell, but, you know, if you can go out and achieve something this week, maybe break it up into pieces if it feels like it's too goddamn much. Because as far November 4th, it's election day. It's like whatever happens, just take it in small pieces if it's get to be too much, I guess. And apply heat for apply cold for swelling and heat for pain, tension, and if you got a big bathtub, for fuck's sake, use it. Soak. I mean, I'm just hurting. I'm just in a lot of pain, but it may not be like that for everybody. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's not, because, like I said earlier, I really played it. I really ragged my body out for like going 90 to nothing from 16 to 34. Don't know how many years that is. Seems like it would be an even number because 6 and 4. But all right, Dan. Miracles on a daily basis. Yeah. Let's see what we all got. IT, emergency surgery. Yeah. Lidocaine for pain. Take a water and tea break every once in a while. Yes. There you go. Now this is what I'm just learning. It's okay to do that. You know, the cognitive dissonance that I experienced during the visit here with my dad, Cowboy, was pretty extreme. You know, like on the inside, I'm just like, what in the actual fuck? But on the outside, it's like, wow, he's being a decent human being. How? But I know this is a thing that happens with elderly diseases. I've seen it with my Aunt Sally, my grandmother, and with my Aunt Sis, and a little bit with my Papa Head. But he was pretty cognizant all the way. Both my papas on my mom and dad's side were my biological mom and dad's side. They were very cognizant all the way to the end. It was whenever Papa Head told me to give him the medicine that from that point on he was not cognizant. That was life's hard, y'all. Good to see you, Martha. Holy shit, girl, woman, lady. You are now on 75, is that microgram fentanyl and 28 milligram Dilaudid per day for cancer pain. Yeah, cancer pain is a motherfucker. And have you had surgery yet? Love you too, Martha. Damn. I'm sure it's helping. It might not be helping as much as, I mean, there's there's no helping that kind of pain. And from my experience with my thing, with my junk, like the emanating pain that was so excruciating throughout the process it's still kind of there. Like, I'm in pain there all the time. It's just not that excruciating pain. Inoperable. Yeah. Right. It's always there. Yeah. See, that's what I was waiting to hear, because that's how, like, there was just nothing. Nothing. And I had to go and basically bully my way into being operable, because they fucked up the first surgery. And it was hella inconvenient, because basically I had to just put my whole life on hold, all of it, after I lost all of my shit. So it's like, not okay, now put your life on hold after everything explodes, and then um, to go basically chase down every possible thing. Now, I mean, I was early detected. All you need is love and prayers. Well, guess what? You got it. You got it. My beads are in the bedroom, because at least I think that's where they are, because that's what I do with them. And I sort of start with the whatever comes to mind, but it's like a bing, 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 bing. I wish everybody that in the network, the people that, because everything is connected to everything. That sounds all hippie and shit, but as far as I know, it is. I'm hallucinating this whole damn thing. We're all God and whatever. Like, those hmm, those those ideas seem not too harmful. Oh, thanks, Tiff. Sending you tons of love, strength, prayers. There are times we do have to freeze everything and take care of ourselves, and that can add up to a year or more. In my case, it added up to, let's see, 2017 to 2024. So uh, that was a long fucking pause, man. And it does. It almost feels like I'm not like that. Is it? Am I? Is it playing yet? Is it playing? Am I? Is this real? Um, Wichita lineman. Love through the wires. I think of Wichita lineman. I'm gonna have to look that up. Look at that. Mother Mary is taking away pain when I say rosary. I'm not even Catholic. The prayer beads, like I went to a Catholic school. I learned how to do the fucking rosary the proper way and do all of the canonizations and shit of Mary. But I've found it to be most useful when I just do the like the. It doesn't even matter what you're praying, but it makes it kind of like transcendental a bit when you can zone out with a repetitive prayer. It's almost like playing music when you are playing a repetitive melody, because I was taught to say these prayers a certain way, you know, and in other cultures it's, same thing but a different place. They are taught to say the prayers a certain way. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. And that's the rhythm of it. And so, because I got music in my head all the fucking time, and rhythms. It's like I can trance out to that, and if you've ever heard anyone say like on stage I disappear, like that is the same feeling for me. I pick up the beads and I say the prayers, and I feel like I'm like not there, but at the same time connected to something. That's cool. Allergy cream for under the patch is not helpful. Pain science is improving though. Yeah. It's about the presence of mind and blending out white noise. Yeah. Sophia. I talked to someone from West Germany this morning, and until she told me, uh, I never would have thought it, because uh, the difference between, like, it's kind of like here in southern Louisiana, the accent is way different than West Texas, but it's not geographically that much different than certain just places in Germany. Germany is, I don't know, probably the closest country to the size of Texas. And is Germany the Texas of Europe? I just had some really wild things going on in my head. Well, I started on time and I'm 15 minutes over. Um, yeah, I wanted to visit. I wanted to at least say hi. And I'm surprised that there were more subscribers when I haven't done a damn thing. It's funny. But yeah, I mean, I hate to be all cryptic and not talk about certain things, but I can't. It happened before. So, like, if you remember way back in 2015 and you go back to the Chronicles back then, that time, like when I did my first seminar, I did the Scientology, what is Scientology seminar? Uh, it was the same for the same reason. I have a little more, yeah, I have a, what's the word? Yeah, I have a little more freedom to disclose things, but certain things I'm just not gonna until they're resolved. Just keep it keep it tight, Because after all, like I'm broadcasting on social media, right? Something to do for out. To send you on y'all's merry way. What can I do? 2024 stuff. Some ASMR. Tell you what I can do. I'll play the first mixes that came off of the sessions. I'll do Pinwheel. This was the first mix of, or maybe I should do Désolé because that was the first one we did, the first one we recorded. So after we did the session, Rick did a mix and sent this over. This is 1.1. I don't think this is the revision one. So that's January. Let's see.
Sometimes you feel it, and sometimes you don't. It's because you don't want to. Doesn't mean that you won't. Feel so bad. Lost all I had. Honey, I can't think about it anymore without feeling sad. I remember the salt in the air. I remember the smell of your hair. The way that you didn't have a care in the world. Désolé. It's a lonely world. Well, sometimes you see it, and sometimes you don't. They say don't close your eyes. Doesn't mean that you won't. Yeah, I know it's me. But just my 2 cents.
the first string
every time
mixes.
that you told me that I would shine. Seemed to me like it was a sign. Yeah.